Be honest with yourself. Are you smart, motivated, and still somehow stuck? In the next 60 seconds, you'll understand why, and we'll start rewiring it together. This isn't background noise. This is a training session for your mind and your English. By the end of this episode, you'll have 9 mental weapons you can use today. And at the very end, I'll give you a 2-line script I use when I want to quit but can't afford to. Keep listening for that. I'm Laura, and this channel is where we train mind and language side by side. Because when your brain is working against you, English practice collapses. But when your brain is trained, your progress becomes steady, visible, and real. Here's the quick truth that explains so much. Most of your day runs on autopilot. If that hidden code was written by fear, distraction, and comfort, you will keep restarting. Not because you're weak, because your brain is simply obeying the program it knows. Today, we change the program. You will practice out loud with me, because speaking rewires the brain faster than silent listening. You'll feel it. Before we unlock weapon 1, let's get your first win. Repeat this line with me, out loud, exactly as I say it. Short and memorable. I train my brain today, not someday. Again, with a stronger voice. I train my brain today, not someday. Good. That phrase is not motivation fluff. It is a cue. When you hear it, your mind snaps to the present. That's what we need. Simple commands that interrupt the automatic script. Weapon 1 is called mind override. The rule is this. The first thought is automatic. The second thought is yours. You cannot always control the thought that appears. You can always control the thought you choose next. That second thought is your override. Picture the moment your alarm rings. The automatic thought arrives. Just 10 more minutes. That's not a decision. That's a reflex. Here's the override you'll use instead. We don't skip greatness. Say it with me. We don't skip greatness. Again, we don't skip greatness. Why does this work? Because your brain learns from repetition plus action. Each time you override the lazy reflex and move, you are installing a new rule set. You are teaching your nervous system that mission comes before mood. The point is not to feel different. The point is to act different and let feelings catch up later. Let's do a quick drill. I'll give you a situation. You answer with the override. Ready? Situation 1. You sit down to study, and your hand drifts toward your phone. Automatic thought. Just a quick scroll. Your override is, I choose the task in front of me. Say it out loud, again, with less hesitation. Situation 2. You're halfway through a workout. Your legs shake. Automatic thought. Skip the last set. Your override is, I finish the set I start. Say it, again. Situation 3. You open your mouth to speak English, and a small panic rises. Automatic thought, I'll sound stupid. Your override is, I'm learning out loud. Say it. Again. Notice something. These overrides are short and rhythmic. They're designed to fire under pressure. In a difficult moment, complex logic loses. Short commands win. That's why professional athletes, soldiers, and high-pressure performers use simple phrases. They reduce negotiation. They compress decision time. They build a bias for action. Now I want you to choose one situation from your life that repeats almost every day. Mornings, study time, workouts, commuting, meetings. Name it in your head right now. Write it down later if you can. Create one override sentence for that situation. Keep it under 8 words. Start with I or we. Make it active. Make it final. I'll give you examples. I open the book and begin. I write for 10 minutes now. I speak first, then refine. We don't break promises to ourselves. Pick one. Speak it. Again. Here's how you'll use it for the next 24 hours. When the automatic thought appears, do not argue with it. Do not debate it. Debating is how we lose minutes and momentum. Instead, breathe once, say the override, and move your body within 5 seconds. Stand up, click the timer, open the file, lift the weight, begin the report. The action is what seals the override into your system. You might ask, isn't this just discipline with a new name? The difference is the mechanism. Discipline is the outcome. Mind override is the switch that triggers it. We're moving the switch to where you can reach it quickly. Let's lock this in with one last English rep. Repeat after me, with intention. First thought automatic, second thought mine. First thought automatic, second thought mine. Good. You just unlocked weapon 1. And here's your open loop for later in this episode. When we reach weapon 7, victory delay mode, I'll show you how to make hard work feel easier within 7 days by changing when you collect your reward. It sounds impossible. It isn't. Stay with me and you'll try it yourself. In a moment, we'll step into weapon 2, repetition ritual. It's the engine that turns one override into a permanent identity. But before we get there, here's a 30-second assignment that will boost your retention for the entire episode. Pause after this sentence and write your override on a sticky note or in your phone notes. Put it where the problem usually starts. On your alarm screen, next to your desk, at the gym, on your laptop lid. The faster you see the phrase at the trigger point, the faster the override fires. All right, you've taken control of the second thought. You've built a simple script you can use today. You've practiced out loud so your brain listens. When we return, we will multiply that small win using repetition ritual, the method that writes your identity through daily non-negotiables, even on bad days. This is where most people fail. It's also where you will begin to separate from your old patterns. Take one breath. Say it one last time. I train my brain today, not someday. Now we build the ritual. You've learned the first override. You now know that the second thought is always yours to command. But here's the truth. One override alone won't change your life. What changes you is what you repeat, day after day, when no one is watching. Weapon 2 is called repetition ritual. And the rule is this. You don't become what you do once. You become what you repeat. Think about it. Every morning when you brush your teeth, you don't debate it. You don't wait for motivation. You just do it. Why? Because repetition has written that habit so deeply into your brain that it's no longer a choice. It's automatic. That's the power of ritual. It erases decision fatigue and makes the right action easier than the wrong one. Now let's go deeper. Neuroscience shows us that your brain is built from billions of nerve cells called neurons. Every time you repeat a thought or an action, those neurons fire together. The more they fire, the stronger their connection becomes. Scientists call this synaptic reinforcement. I want you to imagine a jungle for a moment. Each time you walk through the same path, the trail gets clearer, smoother, faster. Eventually, that path becomes the obvious route, and your brain is no different. But here's the danger. Most people repeat the wrong things. They rehearse doubt. They rehearse procrastination. They rehearse fear. Every time they say, I'll do it tomorrow, the jungle path of avoidance becomes smoother, and the path of courage, discipline, or focus grows over with weeds. Their brain learns weakness as its default. That's why repetition ritual is not just about habits. It's about identity programming. What you repeat, you become. Which means you need to choose your repetitions with intention, because they will define you far more than any single burst of motivation ever could. Let's anchor this with a line you can say with me right now, out loud. My rituals write my results. Again, louder. My rituals write my results. This is not theory. It's the weapon behind the world's greatest performers. Let's take one example. Kobe Bryant. He wasn't legendary just because of talent. He was legendary because of ritual. Every morning at 4 a.m., while others slept, he was already on the court. Not sometimes, not once a week, every single day. He drilled the same moves for hours, thousands of times. Coaches asked him, "Why repeat what you've already mastered?" And his answer was simple: because repetition programs my brain. He wasn't just training his body. He was training his nervous system to fire without hesitation. When pressure came, he didn't have to think. His brain already knew what to do. That is the magic of ritual. It removes hesitation. It silences doubt. It builds automatic excellence. Now, you don't need to wake up at 4 a.m. like Kobe, but you do need non-negotiables. A repetition ritual doesn't have to be dramatic. It has to be consistent. Even 10 minutes a day can rewire your identity if it is repeated without fail. So here's your drill. Pick one small action you want to install into your daily system. Just one. It could be reading 2 pages of a book each morning, saying your vision sentence out loud before bed, practicing English phrases for 10 minutes in the evening, taking a short walk without your phone to clear your mind. Whatever it is, make it non-negotiable. Decide right now that you will repeat it every day for the next 7 days. Not when you feel like it, not when life is easy. Every day, even on the worst days, because those are the days that count the most. Say this with me: I repeat until I become. Again, I repeat until I become. This is the deeper truth. Motivation is a spark. Repetition is the fire. Motivation fades fast. Repetition stays. Anyone can feel inspired for one afternoon, but champions are built through repeated actions, especially when it hurts, especially when no one claps, especially when it seems invisible. And let's make it real with your English practice. Every time you repeat a sentence out loud, your mouth, your brain, your memory, and your confidence all grow stronger. The more you repeat, the smoother that jungle path becomes, until speaking in English feels natural instead of forced. That's why this episode isn't just about mindset. It's about giving your English brain the same ritual of repetition. So here's your task before we move to weapon 3. Choose your ritual right now, name it in your head, and then commit to repeating it daily. No excuses. Tomorrow, when resistance shows up, you won't think, "Do I feel like it?" You'll simply remember, my rituals write my results. Weapon 2 is unlocked, and now we're ready to sharpen your edge with weapon 3, pain conditioning. This is where most people run away, but it's also where transformation begins. Because pain, when used correctly, becomes the gym of your mind. And if you can learn to train inside discomfort, your brain will stop fearing pain and start craving progress. Take a breath. Repeat it once more with me. My rituals write my results. Now let's step into the fire. Weapon 3, pain conditioning. You've built your first override. You've chosen your ritual. Now it's time to step into the hardest but most transformative weapon, pain conditioning. Here's the principle. If you run from pain, you run from power. Every breakthrough in life has a price tag, and that price tag is usually discomfort. Yet most people spend their entire lives avoiding it. They build comfort zones so tight they suffocate inside them. And then they wonder why they feel restless, anxious, and stuck. Pain conditioning flips the story. It trains your brain to see discomfort not as a stop sign, but as a green light, a signal that you're in the exact place where growth is happening. Because the truth is simple. Your brain doesn't grow inside comfort. It grows when you stretch it, challenge it, even stress it, just like your muscles do. Let's make this practical. Think about the last time you avoided something uncomfortable. Maybe it was a difficult conversation. Maybe it was speaking English in public. Maybe it was pushing through the last 10 minutes of a workout. In each case, pain showed up and whispered, "Stop, rest, avoid this." And most people obey. They step back into comfort. But what they don't realize is that every time they do, they train their brain to retreat. They reinforce weakness. Pain conditioning reverses that. It teaches your brain to associate discomfort with strength, to treat the burn of effort as proof that you're building power, to step into the moment of fear or fatigue and say, "This is the rep that makes me different." Say this line out loud with me. "If it hurts, it's training me." Again, if it hurts, it's training me. Now let's anchor this with an extreme story. David Goggins, once overweight, broken, and hopeless, turned himself into a Navy SEAL, an ultramarathon runner, and a symbol of mental toughness. How? Pain conditioning. He ran on broken legs. He trained while bleeding. He put himself through situations most people can't imagine. And every time pain screamed, he answered, "You will not beat me today." Now, you don't need to run 100 miles on shattered feet. That's not the point. The point is to deliberately build small moments of controlled pain into your life. Cold showers, pushing through the last rep, speaking when your voice shakes, sitting in silence when your brain craves distraction. Each time you do, your brain records a new lesson. This person doesn't break when it's hard. Here's a drill for you. Pick one small discomfort you can choose today. Just one. Maybe it's turning off your phone for an hour. Maybe it's finishing a boring task without escape. Maybe it's practicing English for 10 minutes, even when you feel tired. Whatever it is, don't avoid it. Step into it. Feel the discomfort. And remind yourself, if it hurts, it's training me. Say it again, louder this time. If it hurts, it's training me. What does this repetition do? It rewires your emotional response. Instead of panicking when discomfort rises, your brain starts to see it as normal, even rewarding. Neuroscience shows that after effort and pain, your brain releases dopamine. Not before, like with cheap pleasures, but after. That's why people who train in discomfort start to crave it. Their brain learns to link pain with reward. Here's the deeper truth. Pain itself isn't the enemy. Fear of pain is. Most people break not because the challenge was too much, but because they told themselves they couldn't survive the discomfort. Once you prove to your brain that you can survive it, and even grow from it, you become mentally bulletproof. Let's run one more call and response to install it. I'll say the automatic thought. You answer with the override. Automatic thought, "This is too hard." Override, "Hard is my training ground." Say it. Again. Automatic thought, "I can't take the discomfort." Override, "If it hurts, it's training me." Say it. Again. Good. You're beginning to turn pain into fuel. So here's your assignment before we step into weapon 4. Today, choose one controlled discomfort and lean into it. Don't avoid. Don't escape. Don't numb it. Face it, breathe through it, and remind yourself you're not breaking. You're strengthening. Write it down if you need to. Today, my chosen pain is, and fill in the blank. Then do it. Because here's the truth. Comfort is a slow poison. It softens your edge. It convinces you that safety is more important than growth. But pain, when chosen, when embraced, becomes your personal trainer. It builds resilience, clarity, and courage. And when life throws unexpected pain at you, you'll already be conditioned. You won't fold, you'll rise. Weapon 3 is now unlocked. You've started the process of making discomfort your ally. And in the next part, we move to something even deeper. Weapon 4, identity hack. This is where everything changes. Because at the end of the day, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You rise to the level of who you believe you are. And if your identity is stuck in the past, no amount of motivation will pull you forward. So take one more breath. Say it once more. If it hurts, it's training me. Now we go to war with the invisible script that controls your life. Weapon 4, identity hack. You've learned to override your thoughts. You've started building repetition rituals. You've begun conditioning your brain to lean into pain instead of running away from it. But here's the turning point. None of those weapons will stick if your identity remains outdated. That brings us to weapon 4, identity hack. Here's the rule. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You rise to the level of your identity. Think about it. If deep down you believe I'm lazy, no productivity system will save you. If you believe I'm not good at English, no amount of vocabulary study will make speaking flow. If you believe I always give up, your brain will make sure you sabotage yourself every time. That's the hidden script of identity. Psychologists call this self-schema, the blueprint your brain uses to decide who you are. And here's the scary part. Your brain works relentlessly to make sure your behavior matches your identity, even if that identity is false or toxic. If you see yourself as weak, your brain will find ways to create weakness. If you believe you're unworthy, your brain will reject opportunities before they even bloom. But the opposite is also true. If you rewrite your identity, your brain will start generating thoughts, actions, and habits that align with the new version of you. So here's your line to anchor this weapon. Say it out loud with me. I am the kind of person who follows through. Again, with more strength. I am the kind of person who follows through. Notice what happened. I didn't say, I want to follow through. I didn't say, someday I'll be disciplined. I declared identity. That's the hack. You don't wait until you feel ready. You don't wait until you have proof. You speak the identity now, and then act as if it already belongs to you. Muhammad Ali understood this. He didn't say, I hope to be the greatest. He declared, I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was, by repeating it daily, loudly, unapologetically, he trained his brain to accept a new identity. And once his brain believed, his body, his habits, his discipline, all followed. Now I want you to do a small drill. Think about the identity you've been repeating in your head without noticing. Maybe it's, I'm not confident. Maybe it's, I'm terrible with discipline. Maybe it's, I'm not the kind of person who learns languages easily. That's an old script, and if you don't rewrite it, it will keep dictating your future. Here's how you hack it. 1. Define the identity you want. Don't just say, I want success. Instead say, I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. 2. Craft one sentence in present tense. Keep it short and powerful. I am focused. I am disciplined. I am a learner who grows every day. 3. Repeat it daily. Out loud in the morning. Whisper it at night. Write it in your notes. Place it where you'll see it often. 4. Act in alignment. Even if it feels fake at first, take one small action that proves that the new identity. Small actions stack into real belief. Say this phrase with me right now. My identity drives my destiny. Again, louder. My identity drives my destiny. Now let's bring it closer to English learning, because that's where many of you feel stuck. The old identity says, I'm always translating in my head. I can't speak fluently. The new identity says, I am the kind of person who thinks in English daily. The action that proves it? Practicing one sentence out loud without translation. The more you repeat it, the more your brain accepts it. Slowly, you shift from I'm not fluent to I am becoming fluent. That shift changes everything. Let's anchor this with a final drill. I'll give you the automatic identity thought. You give me the hacked version. Automatic. I'm not confident. Hack. I am building confidence daily. Say it. Automatic. I'm lazy. Hack. I am the kind of person who shows up. Say it. Automatic. I can't learn languages. Hack. I am the kind of person who practices English out loud. Say it. Good. Do you see how different it feels? The words are short, but they begin to reshape how your brain organizes your actions. Because at the end of the day, you will never consistently act against your identity. That's why this hack is non-negotiable. Change the story, and the story changes you. So here's your assignment before we step into Weapon 5. Write down one toxic identity you've carried for too long. Replace it with one new identity declaration. And for the next 7 days, repeat it out loud every morning and every night. Pair it with one small action. Watch how quickly your brain begins to shift. Weapon 4 is unlocked. You've started rewriting the invisible script that runs your life. And now we move to the battlefield of modern distraction. Weapon 5, dopamine shutdown. This one is brutal, but it's also liberating. Because until you take back control of your dopamine, your brain will always chase cheap pleasure instead of deep purpose. Take a deep breath. Say it with me one last time. My identity drives my destiny. Now we break the addiction to cheap dopamine and train your brain to crave focus again. You've hacked your identity. You've started speaking to yourself like the person you want to become. But there's a silent enemy that keeps pulling you backward every single day. It's not laziness. It's not lack of willpower. It's dopamine, the chemical that decides what you chase in life. That brings us to Weapon 5, dopamine shutdown. Here's the rule. Until you break your addiction to cheap pleasure, your brain will never chase real purpose. Let's get clear about what dopamine is. Dopamine is not happiness. It's not joy. It's motivation. It's the chemical that makes you reach for something, pursue it, and keep going until you get it. In ancient times, dopamine fired when you hunted food, built shelter, solved problems, or pushed through hardship. Your brain rewarded real effort with the energy to keep going. But today, that same system is hijacked. Every notification, every scroll, every like, every short-form video is designed to fire your dopamine instantly. Junk food, endless entertainment, even procrastination. All of it floods your brain with dopamine, tricking it into thinking you've accomplished something. And the scary part? The more you repeat it, the duller your dopamine system becomes. That's why real work feels so hard. That's why opening a book feels boring compared to opening TikTok. That's why building a business feels heavy compared to scrolling Instagram. Your brain has been trained to crave cheap hits instead of meaningful wins. Say this with me. I take my dopamine back. Again, stronger. I take my dopamine back. Let me give you a story. There was a man in his early 30s who once had sharp focus. In university, he could study for hours, read entire books, and solve complex problems. But after graduation, everything shifted. He got hooked on screens. He scrolled social media for 6, sometimes 8 hours a day. He couldn't read one page of a book without reaching for his phone. His workouts collapsed. His discipline vanished. He tried planners. He tried motivational videos. Nothing worked. Why? Because his dopamine system had been hijacked. He was addicted to cheap stimulation. So he made a drastic decision. For 30 days, he cut out every low-quality dopamine hit. No social media, no junk food, no endless YouTube, no scrolling. At first, it felt like withdrawal. He was restless, bored, irritable. But then something shifted. After 10 days, He could sit in silence again. He could read chapters without distraction. He started writing. He walked for hours and actually enjoyed thinking. He felt real emotions again: clarity, sadness, joy, ambition. At the end of the 30 days, he said something powerful: "I got my brain back." That's the promise of dopamine shutdown. When you strip away the cheap stimulation, your brain starts to heal. It begins to crave focus. It begins to reward effort again. Life feels fuller, deeper, and real. So how do you start? Not by cutting everything forever. That's unsustainable. Instead, follow this simple 4-step drill. Step 1. Pick one high dopamine habit to cut for 7 days. Just one. Maybe it's scrolling short videos at night. Maybe it's gaming. Maybe it's snacking on junk food. Be specific. Step 2. Replace it with a low dopamine activity. Read 5 pages of a book. Write in a journal. Practice English out loud for 10 minutes. Go for a short walk without your phone. Step 3. Track your brain. Notice the restlessness. Notice how quickly your mind screams for distraction. That's proof your system is rewiring. After a few days, notice the clarity returning. Step 4. Repeat. Add more shutdowns. Reclaim more of your focus. Say this with me again: cheap pleasure weakens me. Real effort strengthens me. One more time. Cheap pleasure weakens me. Real effort strengthens me. Here's the truth. The war for your brain is really a war over dopamine. If you allow your system to be hijacked, you will stay restless, anxious, and unfocused. But if you shut down cheap dopamine, your brain will crave discipline. It will start to love the deep work most people avoid. And that is how you build a life of power instead of distraction. So here's your assignment before we step into weapon 6. Identify one cheap dopamine habit in your life and cut it for the next 7 days. Not forever, just a week. Replace it with something meaningful, even if small. At the end of the week, write down how your brain feels. That reflection alone will open your eyes to how much control you've been giving away. Weapon 5 is now unlocked. You've started taking back the steering wheel of your motivation. And in the next part, we'll move to Weapon 6, target lock. This one is about obsession, not distraction. It's about learning to focus so deeply on one mission that nothing else can pull you away. Take a breath. Say it with me once more. I take my dopamine back. Now get ready to train your brain in the art of focus. Weapon 6, target lock. You've started rewiring your dopamine system. You've cut away cheap stimulation and begun reclaiming clarity. Now it's time to harness that focus into something unstoppable. That brings us to Weapon 6, target lock. Here's the rule. Your mind can either wander endlessly or it can aim precisely. But it cannot do both. Modern life thrives on distraction. Every ping, every notification, every new video is designed to scatter your attention into pieces. And when your attention is scattered, your progress dies slowly. You can be busy all day and end the night wondering, what did I actually accomplish? That's not laziness. That's leakage. That's what happens when you live without target lock. Target lock is the opposite. It's the practice of locking your attention onto one mission at a time. One goal, one task, one outcome, not 5, not 10. 1. This level of focus may feel uncomfortable at first because distraction has trained your brain to crave switching. But when you commit, you start to build what scientists call deep work, the state where your brain operates at maximum creativity, memory, and power. Say this with me: one mission, one focus. Again, one mission, one focus. Let me give you a story. Mia was an average student, not top of her class, not gifted. But she had a dream. She wanted to build an online business teaching languages. Most of her friends spent hours watching Netflix, scrolling social media, and half-starting projects they never finished. Mia did something different. She gave herself 2 hours a day. No phone, no tabs, no excuses. She locked in. She built. At first it felt small. 2 hours didn't seem like much, but after 90 days she had a real foundation. After 1 year, she was earning more than a doctor. After 2 years, she was teaching thousands of students worldwide. When people asked her secret, she said, "I wasn't smarter. I was just more focused. I built while they scrolled." That is target lock in action. Obsession beats distraction every time. Now let's run a quick drill. Choose one mission in your life right now. It could be improving your English, building your fitness, creating your side business, finishing your studies. Say it out loud. My mission is. Say it now. Good. Now lock it in with this phrase. I focus where my future lives. Again, I focus where my future lives. Here's how you begin target lock in practice. Step 1. Choose one mission, not 10. 1. Write it down. Commit. Step 2. Schedule deep focus time. Start small, 30 minutes a day. Turn off your phone, close all tabs, set a timer. During that block, nothing else exists. Step 3. Train single tasking. When you work, you work. No multitasking, no half attention. Multitasking kills focus because your brain wastes energy reloading after every switch. Step 4. Track progress weekly. Don't measure feelings. Measure actions. How many minutes did you lock in? How many steps did you take toward your mission? The more you train this, the stronger your flow state becomes. Flow is the zone where time disappears, doubt vanishes, and you perform at your peak. You felt it before. Maybe while writing, painting, coding, or training. But you can't enter flow if you live in distraction. Target lock is how you practice flow on purpose. Say this phrase with me. Distraction is death. Focus is power. Again, stronger. Distraction is death. Focus is power. Here's your assignment before we move to Weapon 7. Pick one mission you want to prioritize this month. Schedule at least 3 sessions of 30 minutes this week where you'll lock in and do nothing else. Protect those sessions like your life depends on them, because your future does. Weapon 6 is unlocked. You've begun training your brain to shut out noise and zero in on what matters. And in the next part, we'll move to Weapon 7, Victory Delay Mode. This is where you stop chasing instant gratification and start building the patience and discipline that separate dreamers from doers. Take a deep breath. Say it one last time. One mission, one focus. Now get ready to master the art of delayed victory. Weapon 7 is next. You've learned to lock your focus. You've aimed your energy at one mission. But here's the truth. Even with focus, you will fail if you can't master patience. That's why the next weapon may be the hardest, but also the most liberating. Weapon 7 is Victory Delay Mode. Here's the rule. Weak minds want results right now. Trained minds are willing to wait, suffer longer, and win forever. We live in a 1-second world. 1-second notifications, 1-second attention spans, 1-second pleasures. And when people don't see quick results, they quit. They believe something's wrong with them. But that's not truth. That's conditioning. The truth is success is slow. Transformation takes time. And if you cannot delay victory, you will trade it for comfort and lose everything. Say this line with me. My results are on delay, not denial. Again, louder. My results are on delay, not denial. Psychologists prove this with the famous marshmallow test. A child sat in front of one marshmallow. They were told, you can eat this now or wait 15 minutes and get 2. Some ate immediately. Others waited. Years later, researchers discovered that the children who practiced delaying gratification had stronger self-control, better health, and greater success. Why? Because they had trained their brains to hold off on cheap rewards for the sake of bigger ones. Victory delay mode is about training yourself to think the same way. You don't give up just because progress feels invisible. You don't collapse when results take longer than you hoped. You don't measure success by what happens today. You measure by what you're building over months and years. Let me give you a story. Emma was a painter. For 10 years, she created art daily. No clients, no applause, no viral moments. Everyone told her to quit. Her parents said, "Get a real job." But she kept going. Then, after a decade of invisible work, a billionaire collector bought one of her paintings. Overnight, her life changed. Her old work became priceless. And when asked how she survived 10 years of no reward, she said, "Because my reward wasn't just the sale. My reward was becoming the kind of person who doesn't quit." That's victory delay mode. Here's a drill for you. Think about one mission you've been working on. Maybe it's learning English. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's a business. Write down this truth. My results are on delay, not denial. Post it where you'll see it. And when progress feels invisible, repeat it out loud. That repetition will anchor patience in your nervous system. Let's run a quick override together. Automatic thought. It's been weeks. I'm not improving. Override. Every silent day of effort is making me stronger. Say it. Automatic thought. I need results now. Override. Victory on delay is victory worth having. Say it. Automatic thought. This is taking too long. Override. Long is the price of lasting. Say it. Here's your assignment. For the next week, track effort instead of results. Don't count likes, views, or applause. Count how many times you showed up. Count the days you practiced. Count the hours you stayed consistent. Because effort compounds, and the results will follow on their own schedule. Say this with me again. My results are on delay, not denial. One last time. My results are on delay, not denial. Weapon 7 is now unlocked. You've begun training patience, the foundation of mastery. And in the next part, we'll move to Weapon 8, self-talk rewire. This one is crucial because the most dangerous voice you'll ever face isn't outside of you. It's the one inside your own head. Breathe deeply, anchor the lesson, and get ready. Because Weapon 8 will transform the way you speak to yourself and the way your brain responds to every challenge. You've trained patience with victory delay mode. You've learned to stay in the game when others quit too soon. But even with discipline, rituals, and focus, there is still one voice that can destroy everything. The voice inside your head. That brings us to Weapon 8, self-talk rewire. Here's the rule. The loudest voice you hear is your own, and your brain obeys it. Think about it. From the moment you wake up, a voice is narrating your life. Sometimes it says, "You've got this." Other times it says, "You'll fail again." And the frightening truth is that your brain doesn't argue. It takes orders. It acts as if your words are commands. If your inner voice whispers, "I'm weak," your brain prepares weakness. If it repeats, "I'm not good enough," your brain creates hesitation. And the longer those phrases loop, the deeper they etch themselves into your subconscious. Say this with me. My brain becomes what I tell it. Again, stronger. My brain becomes what I tell it. Here's the problem. Most people are stuck in a prison built by their own voice, not because of what the world said to them, but because of what they kept saying to themselves. I always fail. I'm behind. I can't change. I'm not special. Each sentence became a chain. And the saddest part? They don't even notice they're doing it. Neuroscience confirms this. Self-talk shapes emotional regulation, focus, decision-making, and even confidence. Your brain doesn't filter sarcasm. If you constantly joke, "I'm terrible at this," your brain treats it as truth. If you repeat, "I'll never succeed," your brain strengthens the failure pathway. But if you start saying, "I'm learning," your brain begins to open new doors. If you say, "I can," your nervous system literally prepares your body for success. Let me give you an example. Daniel was a long-distance runner. Physically, he was ready. Strong body, clean diet, good schedule. But every time he raced, he gave up halfway. He couldn't understand why. Then one day, he noticed his self-talk. Every time he felt tired, a hidden voice whispered, "You're not built for this. You always quit." He never said it out loud, but it ran like background music. So Daniel decided to rewire it. He created a new line. "I am the kind of person who finishes, even when it hurts." He repeated it daily, during runs, before bed, in the mirror. At first, it felt fake. But after 90 days, something shifted. He ran his first marathon. He finished. He didn't collapse halfway because his brain had received new orders. And it obeyed. That's self-talk rewire. Let's practice it now. I'll give you the negative voice. You answer with the rewire. Voice: "I can't do this." Rewire: "I'll figure it out." Say it. Voice: "I'm not good enough." Rewire: "I'm still becoming who I need to be." Say it. Voice: "I'll never change." Rewire: "I'm not there yet, but I'm not staying here." Say it. Good. Feel the difference? The goal isn't blind positivity. The goal is intentional commands. Your brain is a soldier waiting for orders. Give it the orders that build your future. Here's your assignment. Over the next 3 days, catch one negative phrase you repeat often. Write it down, then craft one new line to replace it. Every time the old phrase shows up, speak the new one out loud, loud enough for your ears to hear it. The sound of your own voice is a powerful trigger for rewiring. Say this phrase with me again. My brain becomes what I tell it. One last time. My brain becomes what I tell it. Weapon 8 is now unlocked. You've begun the process of reshaping your inner dialogue, turning your voice from enemy to ally. And in the next part, we move to the final and most powerful weapon, mental warfare mode. This is where everything comes together, where you stop waiting for strength and start training like a warrior. Take a breath, anchor your new voice, because next, we step into the battlefield of the mind itself. Weapon 9 is coming. You've overridden your thoughts. You've built rituals. You've trained with pain. You've hacked your identity. You've taken back your dopamine. You've locked your focus. You've delayed victory. You've rewired your self-talk. Now it all leads here. Weapon 9, mental warfare mode. Here's the rule. The real battlefield isn't out there. It's in your mind. If you don't train for war inside, you'll be defeated by yourself. Most people think the mind is naturally on their side. It isn't. Your brain wasn't built for success. It wasn't built for happiness. Its primary mission is survival. And survival means staying small, safe, hidden. That's why your brain whispers, don't risk it. Don't speak up. Don't try. Don't change. It calls that protection. But in reality, it's sabotage. Mental warfare mode is when you stop being passive. You stop waiting for confidence or motivation. You stop treating your thoughts like suggestions. You take the offensive. You declare war against fear, doubt, hesitation, and weakness. You command your brain instead of obeying it. Say this with me. I am not my thoughts. I am their commander. Again, stronger. I am not my thoughts. I am their commander. Life will attack you. People will disappoint you. Plans will collapse. Fear will whisper in your ear. Your own mind will try to convince you to quit. If you don't train for war, you will obey that voice. But when you activate mental warfare mode, you turn every thought into a battlefield you can win. Let me give you the most powerful example. Viktor Frankl was a neurologist and psychiatrist, but during the Holocaust, he was imprisoned in a concentration camp. His family was murdered, his dignity, his freedom, stripped away. His body was trapped in hell. But inside that nightmare, he made a choice that became one of the greatest mental weapons in history. He said, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." Frankl realized something profound. They could destroy his body. They could take everything external, but they could not control his mind. His thoughts were his attitude was his. So he went to war, not with guns, but with meaning, against despair, against hatred, against hopelessness. He imagined a future. He held on to purpose. He rebuilt himself mentally inside hell. And when he walked out alive, he wrote Man's Search for Meaning, a book that has given strength to millions. That is mental warfare mode. So how do you activate it? Here's the framework. Step 1. Name your war. What's your current battle? Fear of failure? Endless procrastination? Shame from your past? Anxiety about the future? Don't dodge it. Write it down. Call it by name. Step 2. Write your war orders. These are commands you speak every day. Example, I will not obey fear. I choose power over panic. I sharpen when it gets hard. I move forward when I want to quit. Step 3. Discipline your emotions. Feel them, but act with strength. Don't let outbursts, panic, or weakness make decisions. Remind yourself, my actions follow my mission, not my mood. Step 4. Create a daily warfare ritual. Each morning, declare your mission out loud. Visualize your victory. Speak your orders. Rewrite your thoughts. Train yourself like a soldier prepares for battle. Say this with me right now. Fear is not my commander. I am. Again, louder. Fear is not my commander. I am. Here's your drill. Write down 3 sentences that will serve as your war orders. Keep them short, keep them sharp. Speak them each morning for the next 7 days. This isn't positive thinking. This is training your nervous system to fight for your future. Weapon 9 is now unlocked. You've reached the highest level of mental armory. But remember this. These aren't tips to admire. They are weapons to use. And if you don't use them, your brain will default back to old programming. Take a breath. Repeat this final line with me. I train my mind like a warrior. Again, I train my mind like a warrior. Now you're ready for the conclusion, the moment where all 9 weapons come together into one system you can carry for the rest of your life. That's where we go next. You've reached the end of this journey. But this isn't really the end. It's the beginning of a new version of you. Over the past 9 weapons, you've built a complete armory for your mind. Let's bring it all together. Weapon 1, mind override. You learned that the first thought is automatic, but the second thought is yours. You became the commander of your mind. Weapon 2, repetition ritual. You discovered that you don't become what you do once. You become what you repeat. Your rituals write your results. Weapon 3, pain conditioning. You stopped running from discomfort. You started seeing pain as your personal trainer. If it hurts, it's training you. Weapon 4, identity hack. You began rewriting the invisible script. No longer, I'm not enough, but I am the kind of person who follows through. Weapon 5, dopamine shutdown. You took back control from cheap pleasures and gave your brain the chance to crave focus and discipline again. Weapon 6, target lock. You trained the art of obsession. One mission, one focus, aimed energy that builds empires. Weapon 7, victory delay mode. You learned that your results are on delay, not denial, that patience is the hidden currency of transformation. Weapon 8, self-talk rewire. You turned your voice from enemy to ally. You began giving your brain commands instead of criticisms. Weapon 9, mental warfare mode. You stepped fully into the battlefield of the mind. You stopped obeying fear and started training like a warrior. Together, these 9 weapons form a system. Not a list of tricks, not a dose of short-term motivation, a complete training ground for your brain. Say this with me. My brain is not my enemy. It is my weapon. Again, stronger. My brain is not my enemy. It is my weapon. Here's the hard truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody will rewire your brain for you. Nobody else can carry this responsibility. But the moment you accept it, the moment you decide to use these weapons daily, your future begins to shift. So here's your challenge. Don't just remember these weapons. Use them. Start with one. Pick the one that hit you the hardest. Apply it today, before the day ends. Speak the override. Repeat the ritual. Face the discomfort. Rewire the voice. Whatever it is, move from knowing into doing. Because knowledge doesn't change lives. Action does. And here's the bonus. While you train your mind, you're also training your English. Every phrase you repeat, every line you speak out loud, every override you declare, it's rewiring your brain for both resilience and fluency. You're building 2 powers at once, and that combination makes you unstoppable. So as we close, here's the final drill. Repeat these 9 affirmations with me, one for each weapon. 1. First thought automatic, second thought mine. 2. My rituals write my results. 3. If it hurts, it's training me. 4. My identity drives my destiny. 5. I take my dopamine back. 6. One mission, one focus. 7. My results are on delay, not denial. 8. My brain becomes what I tell it. 9. I train my mind like a warrior. Say them again, louder this time. Let them echo in your body. This is your code now. If this episode gave you power, don't walk away silently. Subscribe now, because the next episode may be the one that completes your transformation. Here, we are building a community where weakness dies and strength is trained. Your brain is no longer the enemy. It is your greatest weapon. Sharpen it every single day. And when life tests you, and it will, you'll be ready. Now go, train, live it, and never forget, your mind is your battlefield and you are its commander.